रहमत पाएंगे। रोजा रखने की ताकत दे हिम्मत हमको या अल्लाह, सजदे में हम अपने सर को झुकाएंगे।
Union Sons. We fix your windscreen. We might have a star crack, we have a long crack, a bullseye, a chip, combination crack. All of these can be fixed right here. Why change and put on something that doesn't have the capacity to withstand the pressure and put on a bootleg? Fix what you have. Because that Union Sons bring all of the issues to naught.
Printing, engraving, signs, banners, posters, billboards. We do it here. AC Repairs. Come and check us out. At Junior & Sons, one place you get everything done. Looking forward to seeing you.
Looking for quality furniture at great prices? Check J&J Classic Furniture Store, located at 301 LBI Railway Embankment, East Coast, Demerara. Call 220-6783 or 628-9016. In stock chair sets, wardrobes, chest of drawers, suites, dining sets, TV stands, china cabinets, vanities and beds. It's J&J Classic Furniture Store. Call 220-6783 or 628-9016.
You blasted, disgusting children. Get inside.
So what about the children in the yard?
Not me. I ain't getting involved. I don't want my name called into the story.
You rather know those children get abused before you do something to stop it or prevent.
That is not my concern. I just feel like my see nothing, hear nothing. I am not getting involved.
Ring the Child Care and Protection Hotline. Them people know how to deal with it. You don't have to give them your name.
Call the Child Care and Protection Agency hotline on 227-0979. Children need adults to protect them. Don't let them down.
These nice products I spoke with proper things. Peppies, you get the best and least. Oh no, bless up.
Okay. Pack up these things. Yellow. Yeah, put the things in the car.
Loving you is easy cause you're beautiful. Do-da-do-da-do. I love you, and you, and you, and you, and you. I love all of you.
Peppies, we put the pep back into your kitchen.
And you. I love Peppies.
Mother Kalimata astrologer in Guyana. Pandith Shiva. Know your past, present, future. Relationship problems. Love spells. Health problems. Financial problems. Business problems. Court case. Marriage problems. Family problems. Sexual problems. Good luck. Domestic problems. Promotion. Remove evil spirits. Remove black magic. He will give permanent supreme power protections for your all problems. Meet him once and get permanent solutions for your all problems. Located in Brickdam, Georgetown. Call or WhatsApp for more information, +5 9261200036. All religions are welcome. All matters private and confidential. Mother Kalimata astrology.
Guyana, August 1st, 2024, all roads lead to the National Park as the African Cultural and Development Association, ACTA, hosts its 31st annual Emancipation Festival, Guyana's biggest cultural festival. Come celebrate our collective African heritage with African food, dance, fashion, history, storytelling, sports, and much more. Gates open at 10 a.m. sharp. Come, let's celebrate our resilient African essence. Harambe, we all hold together.
top stories this evening, sponsored by Courts, bringing value home. No date set as yet for the government versus GTU appeal. Education Minister believes the appeal will be successful. Ipadaji calls on the police to remove the word Negro from its reports. Draft legislation for oil spill to be released soon, says VP Jagdeo. And government continues to turn the blind eye as Exxon exceeds production limit, says Dr. Adams. HGP Nightly News begins now. Good evening to our viewers here in Guyana and online. I'm Travis Chase with the Monday, June 3 edition of the HGP Nightly News. We have what you need to know this evening. We tell you first up that there is absolute confidence in the government's camp that the matter pending in the Court of Appeal against the Guyana Teachers Union will be in its favor. The High Court ruling should have seen teachers across Guyana being paid a livable wage. However, Education Minister Priya Manikchand has joined the long list of officials denouncing the court's ruling. Here's more. Guyana's Court of Appeal is yet to indicate when it will hear government's appeal against High Court Judge Sandel Kisoon's decision that deemed the nationwide strike by teachers lawful and legitimate, and monies from their salaries must not be deducted for the days they were on strike. Education Minister Priya Manikchand has joined Vice President Bara Jagdeo and Attorney General Anil Nandlal in denouncing Justice Kisoon's ruling, adding that the government's appeal will be successful.
First strike before the judgment was a strike that the judge deemed to be lawful because we didn't go to conciliation, we didn't go to arbitration, we didn't engage that process, as a result of which the teachers staying home was lawful. That's what he said. Because of that lawfulness, we're challenging all of that.
The appeal, filed in the name of Chief Education Officer Saddam Hussein, wants the appeal court to find, among other things, that Justice Kisoon erred when he ruled that the teachers enjoyed a right and freedom to strike.
If we take everything the judge said to be true, because of that lawfulness, you can't deduct salaries and you can't do these other things. This second strike, post-judgment, people must examine whether this is lawful. So let us say we were to lose in the appeal court, which we don't think we will lose. We believe we have a very strong case coming from a world full of authority that says if you don't work, you can't get paid.
The Education Minister drew upon this conclusion, given that teachers are now on strike for 53 days.
But let's say the judge was right, and the union believes the judge is right. Then what you've engaged in here, because we have engaged the conciliation process, is an unlawful strike. And you're encouraging your members to stay on the road or stay out of the classroom in a strike where somebody has already pronounced that if it's unlawful, you could deduct salaries. Because that's the logical conclusion. Because it was lawful, he said, you can't deduct. So if this one is unlawful, then the suggestion is that you can go with what the rest of the world is doing, right?
The Court of Appeal is also being asked to put on hold Justice Kisoon's ruling pending the hearing and determination of the appeal. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News. Meanwhile, the government is insisting that they are ready to talk with the Guyana Teachers Union, but not while teachers are still on strike. More details in this report. Although the Guyana Teachers Union has said that it is prepared to compromise on its multi-year proposal to make way for conciliation, the Education Ministry wants the ongoing strike action by teachers to be called off first. That's the position Education Minister Priya Manikchand is insisting on.
Said very clearly, the minute you're ready to honor the agreement that you signed that says once conciliation begins, the teachers the membership of this union will return to work in a state of normalcy. And there's no gun to our head saying pay 20% before we begin talking.
Currently, Talks between the Guyana Teachers Union and the government of Guyana is at a stalemate, and there has been no indication of a date for the resumption of talks. Minister Manik Chand believes that the Guyana Teachers Union wants the government to come to an agreement on the duress. The minister insists this will not happen.
The union is refusing to go back to the classroom in accordance with this agreement they signed. And just when we were at a place where it appeared as though we were going to agree on conditions, because there were 4 conditions on the table, that we are all comfortable with the terminology, the language, the words used and all that. Then the union came with a surprise and they said, well, no, before we begin talking, we want 20%. Not as a back pay, not 20% for all those years, but 20% while we talk about how much more percent we will get on each of the years they want to negotiate for. And so that kind of unreasonableness cannot be acceded to. But
the Guyana Teachers Union has outrightly asked the government for a 20% interim salary increase pending final negotiations and the need for a fixed time frame for mediation.
We were very firm, 2024 forward, nothing else. They were firm, 2019 to 2023, nothing else. The fact that we were at conciliation was to see what both sides could compromise on. We, having written to the ministry, may indicate to you that we understand compromise would be on this table. The fact that you got up, the other side, the union got up and walked away from that table by their actions, must mean that they're not interested in compromise. And I hope people are understanding that and seeing that.
The GTU's proposal provides for 25% in 2019 and 20% for 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News. Our developing story now from Tiana Cole. The International Decade for People of African Descent Assembly Guyana joined with members of the law fraternity and former law enforcement officials to address the use of the derogatory term Negro by the police and the need to replace it with African Guyanese. Here's Tiana.
Chief Executive Officer of the International Decade for People of African Descent Assembly Guyana, Olive Sampson, said the matter is extremely important since it deals with the dignity and respect of people of African descent. Individuals of African descent, according to Sampson, continues to plead with the government to closely examine laws, policies, and institutional structure that are remnants of enslavement and colonialism.
That are offensive, that are racist, and that affect our participation in the society without those stigmas that draw from the past and that affect our equal enjoyment of our citizenry in this country.
Meanwhile, prominent attorney at law Nigel Hughes commented that it is noteworthy that Kadaki Amsterdam was arrested last Wednesday and that the Commissioner of Police is yet to acknowledge that the force used the term quote-unquote Negro, despite its offensiveness. He added that after the Commissioner of Police would have received numerous complaints about the usage of the word, he should have acted quickly to have the term removed from the Guyana Police Force's lexicon and further enforced it by issuing a standing order.
We have not heard a single word. The only official word that we have heard is from the Attorney General, who says it is opportunistic. Let's interpret that for what it is. It means that neither the Guyana Police Force nor the government of Guyana believe the people of African descent in this country deserve anything looking like an explanation, or better yet, an apology.
Here's a question. How can one be living in a modern society, a quote-unquote one Guyana society, where there are institutions using such disparaging terms without offering an apology?
It says you don't count, and in the end of the day, we don't care. And therefore, the African people are saying today, we are sorry, you will never describe us as Negro in any official document going forward.
The attorney said going forward, if the government continues with this course of action, it will be elevated to the highest level of CARICOM.
Because we cannot possibly be talking about one Guyana, one Caribbean. We have to pool our resources. Guyana is fortunate now, therefore we have to go forward. and you have a clear position adopted by the government that says that 30% of the population is Negro.
Meanwhile, former Assistant Commissioner of Police and Chairman of the Police Service Commission, Paul Slow, said during Commissioner Winston Felix's tenure, gave the directive during a management meeting that is continue using the word Negro in police reports, but unfortunately, other steps were not taken to make sure that this was codified in a standing order.
Because if you are going to make an order, such an order, you have to go to the other logical steps to make sure that a standing order is created. The training, necessary training is done. That is so important, because just to say that we should discontinue using the word, and then the training and the sensitization is not done, we get exactly what we have now, you're reverting to the use the derogatory term.
Tiana reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Thank you, Tiana, for your reporting. Stay with us. There is more news ahead.
Transitions Light Intelligent Lenses. Pick your color. Choose your style. Available at Optique Vision Care.
We at SNL Electrical Agency believe that a good design begins with a great lighting plan. From ambiance lighting to statement chandeliers. Trendy LED fixtures. We've got it all. Layering your homes with lights is the key to creating spaces that welcome, comfort, and inspire. SNL Electrical Agency, importers and distributors of all electrical lamps, solar lights, cables, circuit breaker panels, AC units, and so much more. SNL Electrical Agency, 179 to 180 Thomas Street, Kitty. Telephone 226-3018, 223-1634.
Say goodbye to germs with a free Sterling Super Soap automatic dispenser. That's right, get free equipment and installation of our touch-free dispenser. The perfect amount of soap every time ensures clean and germ-free hands. Refilling is quick and easy with 4 amazing fragrances: coconut, sunflower sunrise, pink blossom, and citrus zest. Call us on 265-7403.
Krishna Rock Establishment. No job is too small or too large. We specialize in all types of fabricating, machinery, excavator repairs, rice field pumps, and hydraulic hoses. Visit us at Lot 113, Block CC Monrepo, East Coast, Demerara, or call 220-9624, 616-9416, or 619-7880. At Krishna Rock Establishment, no job is too small or too large.
You're watching the HGP Nightly News. Welcome back. Vice President Bharat Jagdeo said soon a draft oil spill legislation will be released for public scrutiny. Antonio Day reports.
General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party, PPC, Bharat Jagdeo said that the oil spill legislation is geared at outlining proposed procedures, which includes planning, response time, liabilities, and damages caused by an oil spill. Jagdeo made this announcement during a recent media press.
Within a week, we'll get a draft for the environmental spill legislation to ensure that we safeguard the country, fortify it with a law that that forces these companies to own liability should there be an oil spill.
According to the Vice President, this legislative framework will outline government's duties and countermeasures in the event of an oil spill, as well as the shipping companies and operators in the oil and gas sector. These measures, according to Mr. Jagdio, seek to further strengthen Guyana's institutional framework while adding to the existing Local Content Act and the Natural Resources Fund.
We've gone even further to move to an auction of blocks. When in the past it used to be given out on a first come, first serve. So if you look at around the world, I've read several reports where people are amazed at the pace of change in Guyana, not only in development of the oil and gas sector, but in terms of the government putting in place in a very short period all the tools available, all the tools necessary to properly regulate this sector.
Meanwhile, the government recently published a contract of insurance for ExxonMobil Guyana Limited, EMGL, which raises further questions about the coverage for a potential oil spill. Many oil and gas critics, like former head of the Environmental Protection Agency, Dr. Vincent Adams, have long been lobbying for this in the advent of an oil spill. Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Thank you, Antonio. Meanwhile, former Environmental Protection Agency head Dr. Vincent Adams staunchly believes that the government is turning a blind eye as U.S. oil giant ExxonMobil as it continues to exceed the safety production limit. Here again is Antonio Day.
Recent data from the Ministry of Natural Resources show that the Liza 1 project has exceeded its safety production limit, which is currently at 160,000 barrels of oil per day, followed by the Liza Phase 2, which is currently 250,000. Adams, who is deeply perturbed, said that the ExxonMobil company continues to flout the principles outlined in the Environmental Impact Assessment, which is known as the EIA, by exceeding the safety production limit.
I'm sure all other Guyanese would love if we could produce right at 645,000 barrels per day. Even if it's 645 million barrels per day, the more the better. However, we've got to do it in a safe and environmentally sound manner, or else we could lose corn and husk. If we had an oil spill, we would be bankrupt.
Adams, who raised these concerns while appearing as a guest on the Oil Talk, a program facilitated by the Oil and Gas Governance Network, noted that according to the EIA, the oil and gas company is required to produce 120,000 barrels of oil daily for the Liza Phase 1 project, contrary to what is being displayed numerically. At this point, the former EPA director, who is versed in petroleum engineering, outlined what the company must do to avoid exceeding the production safety limits.
The EIA, for example, in the Liza 1, the EIA says very clearly that the safe operating limit shall be 120,000 barrels per day.
According to Adams, the EIA requires the operator to cut back on the safety production limit.
We are operating at 163,000 barrels per day, over 60% above the set operating limit.
Adams said that the fact that the government is allowing the oil and gas giant to exceed the safety production limit without intervening is sending a clear signal to Guyanese that the EPA, which is the regulatory body, does not have the technical expertise to detect these infractions by ExxonMobil. According to a 2019 release from ExxonMobil, production for Liza Phase 1 stated that production from the first phase of Liza field, located in the Stabro block, was expected to reach full capacity of 120,000 barrels of oil per day in the coming months, and the first cargo is set to be sold within several weeks. ExxonMobil over the past years continued to rake in huge sums of earnings. Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Minister of Natural Resources Vikram Bharat said the government will begin seeking alternative locations for sand mining since the Soesdijk-Linden Highway is earmarked for developments. The story from Daisy Richards.
Minister of Natural Resources Vikram Bharat, on the sidelines of a public day hosted at the Artishang Conference Center, said the government is already seeking to develop new areas for sand mining, as there will be new developments on the Suicide-Linden Highway.
So it is difficult to have sand mining operation ongoing within close proximity to a housing area on the Linden-Suicide Highway. So we are looking at other areas. So it means now we may have to change the approach to sand mining.
The minister added that with new developments on the highway, persons may have to invest in barging instead of trucking to avoid disturbances in the housing areas.
It's far more feasible, far more profitable, and it is better done by barging it down the river than going through the congested traffic on the east bank.
He highlighted that the government is trying to persuade persons from mining on the highway and instead mine along the Demerara River. Bharat mentioned that applications for sand mining permits have increased, but the Guyana Geology and Mines Commission will not be able to grant these permits unless there is no objection by the Guyana Lands and Survey Commission. For HGP Nightly News, I am Daisy Richards.
Thank you, Daisy. You're watching the HGP Nightly News. Stay with us. There is more news ahead.
Planning a cleanup? We can help. Sevon's Waste Management skip bins can be provided for home renovation projects, yard cleanup, or construction project. It's simple. Step 1, give us a call. Step 2, we put down the bin. Step 3, load it up with all of your junk. Step 4, we take it away. That's simple. Bins are also available in various sizes, so there is no job that is too big or too small. Call Sevon's Waste Management today at 218-1455.
Crispy, creamy, what a catch. So tasty, what a catch. With a caramel center, what a catch. And so much chocolate, ooh yeah. First it's crispy, then it's creamy. With so much chocolate, smooth and milky. And when you go a little deeper, it's like caramel, ooh yeah. Oh, what a catch. You know we love you, what a catch. First it's crispy, then it's creamy.
Expert in bringing back loved ones. Business problems.
Number 1 world famous astrologer and psychic, Astropandit Ishwar.
Family problems.
Astrology prediction is God's gift, passed down from generation to generation. He is specialized in the removal of black magic, negative energy, bad luck, voodoo, evil spirits, your worries, and here, special guidance for broken relationships, husband and wife disputes. Expert in bringing back loved ones.
Business problems. Sexual problems. Children's problems. Family problems. Health problems. Domestic problems. And many more. 100% warranted result. All matters private and confidential. Call or WhatsApp now for book on appointment. And all religions are welcome.
For staying with us here on the HGP Nightly News. We tell you now that the Engineers Bill, which seeks to hold engineers accountable, is expected to be introduced in the National Assembly shortly. Find out more from Tiana Cole.
The Engineers Bill will shortly be introduced in the National Assembly as part of government's effort to guarantee that engineers carrying out public works are held accountable. That was disclosed by Minister of Public Works, Juan Edgel.
Very soon, I'll be tabling in the National Assembly the Engineers Bill. And that will bring a new level of accountability for engineers. And part of that bill will be with how we license and remove from being licensed engineers who compromise us.
The minister emphasized that strict accountability would be enforced and that any failure on the part of contractors or engineers to fulfill their commitments would not be tolerated.
None of us want to hear a bridge that we supervised fell down. None of us want to hear a building that we signed off on collapses. And I'm sure none of us want to see a road that we signed off on disappear.
He went on to say that the purpose of this legislation is to assure high-quality procedures, which would result in safer and more dependable infrastructure projects. It also intends to regulate and professionalize the engineering business by providing clear standards and norms. In April, the Attorney General and the Legal Affairs Minister, Annie Nandlaw, disclosed that the government has retained the services of a consultant to review the draft engineers bill, following recommendations for changes in the governance structure. According to reports, the bill provides for the registration, licensing, administration, and discipline of professional engineers, and its primary purpose is to ensure that professionals operate with a high level of professionalism, integrity, and while protecting customers. Kianako reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
The Policy Forum Guyana on Saturday launched its 1.5 degrees Celsius lifestyle initiative aimed at championing sustainable living through impactful changes to everyday behaviors. Here's Carice Gonzalez with the details.
The Policy Forum Guyana unveils its 1.5 lifestyle initiative at the Guyana National Library on Saturday. This initiative aims at fostering sustainability by encouraging simple yet impactful changes in our daily routines. Benita Davis, coordinator of the Policy Forum Guyana, outlined the initiative's evolution since 2019. It began with a climate justice pledge and engaging youth in business, culminating in the launch of the 1.5 initiative to facilitate the transition to sustainable lifestyles.
So the main objective is really to have these influencers promote the 1.5 kit on their social media pages with the hope that local Guyanese who follow these persons would join in and want to know how they can get a jersey, how they can get a bottle, how they can be a part of such an initiative.
Davis emphasized the involvement of 12 influencers from diverse backgrounds to broaden the initiative's reach and promote sustainable living to a wider audience.
So currently we have 12 influencers that ranges from indigenous representatives, Tushaus, as well as persons representing the disability community, as well as women rights activists. We have Nicholas Fernandez, who is a famous squash player here in Guyana. So a broad-based type of influencers, as well as past pageant queens. So the influencers' time period is 3 months. So starting from today, they will begin their campaign. And so we hope at the end of that 3 months, we would have probably triple the amount of influencers we currently have. We hope that ordinary Guyanese, we will see reusing their water bottles, not buying these $200 bottles on the road, going with their reusable shopping bags and not these multiple plastic bags when you go to the market or go to Bounty or Survival. So that's really the hope and the main aim of this campaign.
Meanwhile, one participant stressed the importance of citizen engagement in educating themselves and others, advocating for a shift from single-use items.
Within the next 3 years, if we can get buy-in from the public, I don't think that it will make a big impact on the world scale because Guyana is not a major polluter anyway, but at least in our part of the world, in our country, we'll begin to see small, meaningful changes in, for example, the waste that we see on the streets. That is a big issue, and it's because people don't know what to do with these single-use items from the products that they're consuming.
Moreover, the 1.5 influencer kit is a carefully curated collection of eco-friendly products. Its purpose is to equip individuals with practical resources to reduce their environmental impact and encourage lifestyles in line with the 1.5 climate target. Reporting for the HGP Nightly News, I am Carice Gonzalez.
Minister of Agriculture Zulfikar Mustafa, on the sidelines of the public outreach held by Vice President Barjak Dio, said that there are no major concerns as it pertains to flooding in the respective regions. This story from Daisy Richards.
Minister of Agriculture Zulfikar Mustafa, on the sidelines of a public outreach on Monday at the Artichoke Conference Center, said citizens can breathe a sigh of relief since there is no major flooding in the respective regions.
We had some problem in Blackbush Polder, but the water now have receded tremendously. And I think that generally we don't have any major concern as I'm speaking. We didn't have any major, as I said, major flooding. We had some water and land. We had some agriculture area, cultivation area were underwater, but the area has been drained now.
According to the minister, residents experienced minimal flood waters. Farmlands were not affected. He, however, said he is awaiting a report where further consultations will be held with farmers to ascertain if there were any losses.
The effect would not be because the flooding was, or if there was any flooding, was just minimal, or it was for a short period of time. So the effect will not be there generally, that the plants will die and things like that.
However, contrary to Minister Zulfikar's claims, farmers across Guyana have been calling for support after acres of farmlands were underwater just over a week ago. Similar accounts were recorded in regions 9 and 10, as residents have suffered tremendous losses due to the major flooding in these regions. On Friday, Indigenous Peoples Advocate Mervyn Williams highlighted that due to the flooding in the Rupununi, residents have been suffering from food shortages, and if help is not forthcoming, the situation will become dire. For HGP Nightly News, I am Daisy Richard.
Thank you, Daisy. Your regional news is up next.
Not a single bar of service.
Not with us. Digicel officially has the best mobile coverage in Guyana. Ookla, the company behind Speed Test, recognizes Digicel as the network with the best mobile coverage in Guyana. Be it in Aishalton or in Eteringman, we got you covered.
Digicel, the award-winning network for everyone, everywhere.
Guyana, on August 1st, 2024, all roads lead to the National Park as the African Cultural and Development Association, ACTA, hosts its 31st annual Emancipation Festival, Guyana's biggest cultural festival. Come celebrate our collective African heritage with African food, dance, fashion, history, storytelling, sports, and much more. Gates open at 10 a.m. sharp. Come, let's celebrate our resilient African essence. Arambe, we all pull together.
Step right into the vibrant heart of Guyana with HGP TV's freshest series, Inside Culture. Dive deep into the pulsating core of our spirited nation as we unravel the captivating stories embedded in our arts, music, sports, and beyond. A journey to nurture your soul and celebrate our rich heritage. Join us on HGP TV, where Inside Culture brings you closer to the heart and soul of Guyana, airing Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. and rebroadcasting on Sundays.
Good evening, I'm Daisy Richards and welcome to Monday's edition of the Regional News. We begin with news from Trinidad. After opening fire on a group of men in Gonzales on Sunday, gunmen rushed into the Port of Spain General Hospital, where one of the victims were being taken for treatment, and continued shooting to ensure that he did not survive. The brazen act resulted in 8 people being shot, 4 of whom died. The incident began just before 8 p.m. Sunday, with Gonzales residents reporting that a vehicle pulled up in the area and men dressed in police outfits emerged. They confronted a group of men and fired several shots. 3 men, according to police reports, died at the scene. 2 of them have been identified as Jonathan Arjun and Jaden Reyes. Police say a 4th victim, Kevin King, was taken to hospital by relatives. However, as they attempted to take him into the accident and emergency department, the gunmen who had followed them opened fire on King again. He also succumbed to his injuries. Senior Superintendent of the Homicide Bureau of Investigations, Rishi Singh, told the media early Monday morning that a financial reward will be offered for information relating to this deadly shooting. Hines laments gang killings. National Security Minister Fitzgerald Hines, who visited the crime scene last evening, expressed frustration over the problem of gangs in Trinidad and Tobago. Minister Hines said he was disturbed by this shooting incident and quoted statistics that showed 65% of the murders in the country being gang-related. He said this was a reality even with the presence of anti-gang legislation. Minister Hines called on members of the communities where these gangs are prevalent to speak up and provide information to the police. While in Jamaica, Prime Minister Andrew Holness is reminding Jamaicans of the importance of preparing for what is expected to be an active 2024 Atlantic hurricane season, which begins on Saturday. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, in the United States has forecast an above-average season with projections of 17 to 25 named storms, 8 of 13 hurricanes, and 4 to 7 major hurricanes of Category 3 or higher. Holness pointed out that this is among the highest forecasts issued by NOAA, while addressing the National Disaster Risk Management Council NDRMC meeting held last week. The Prime Minister, who is also chairman of the NDRMC, said this is an appropriate time to assess the exposure of homes, infrastructure, services, productive activities, and workplaces as the hurricane season approaches. Community cooperation is another key point in preparedness, the Prime Minister underscored. He urged citizens to speak with neighbors and family members, especially those who may be alone or unable to help themselves, to develop contingency plans. He pointed out that emergency shelters play a crucial role in disaster response and called on entities managing these shelters to ensure that they are ready and operational. Holness said individuals must prepare personal items if they need to evacuate to a shelter. Forecasters have a 70% confidence in these ranges. These early predictions indicate an active season due to the combination of La Nina and record warm temperatures in the Atlantic Basin, which were last used in 2018, are Alberto, Beryl, Chris, Debbie, Ernesto, Francine, Gordon, Helene, Isaac, Joyce, Kirk, Leslie, Milton, Nadine, Oscar, Patty, Raphael, Sarah, Tony, Valerie, and William. They will be used again in 2030 unless any are retired and replaced. Now for some international news. Claudia Sheinbaum, a Nobel Prize-winning climate scientist, will become Mexico's first female president after winning a landslide election victory and promising to continue the work of her mentor and outgoing leader, Andrés Manuel López Obrador. Sheinbaum, 61, secured between 58.3 and 60.7% of votes, according to the INE Electoral Institute's rapid sample count released late Sunday evening. The most support won by a candidate in a Mexican presidential election since the end of one-party rule in 2000. Her victory is a major step for Mexico, a country known for its macho culture and home to the world's second biggest Roman Catholic population, which for years pushed more traditional values and rules for women. Main opposition rival Josil Galvez conceded defeat after mustering just 26.6 to 28.6% of votes. According to preliminary results, Sheinbaum, who will take office on October 1st, is the first woman to win a general election in the United States, Mexico, or Canada. Mexico joins Latin American counterparts like Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Costa Rica, Honduras, Nicaragua, and Panama, which have voted women to the highest office. Thank you for watching. Do have a productive week. Until next time.
No no date set for government versus GTU appeal. Education Minister believes appeal will be successful. Bodies representing people of African descent calls on government to remove the word Negro from police reports. Draft legislation for oil spill to be released soon, says VP Jack Dio. And government continues to turn a blind eye as Exxon exceeds production limit, says Dr. Adams. Those are our major headlines. For these stories and more, please go to our website. It's www.hgptv.com. I'm Travis Chase. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Interested in honoring or paying tribute to a loved one, or just making a loved one feel special? HGP TV offers you all that and more. Air your birthday greetings, death announcements, and wedding anniversaries on HGP TV today. HGP TV offers affordable prices, convenience, and great services. Call us on 220-3660 or email us at sales@hgptv.com.